Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, a man who's usually more comfortable cutting checks than calling plays, just made the loudest decision in the building. And make no mistake, this one's shaking up everything. Week 1, barring some complete disaster, Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Not Joe Flacco, not Kenny Pickett, not Dillon Gabriel. Shedeur. Period. End of discussion. This isn't a leak. This isn't speculation from insiders trying to stir the pot. Multiple sources, and even Colin Cowherd himself, have confirmed it. This decision came straight from the top. Haslam didn't just give Shedeur the green light. He forced the issue. He handpicked Sanders over a coaching staff that's still clinging to veteran comfort, like it's a blanket in a thunderstorm. Let's not pretend this was all smooth sailing either. While Stefanski and Andrew Berry were out there playing draft day games, reaching for Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round to try and block Shedeur's path, Haslam stepped in. He wasn't having it. He saw what so many others in this league were too scared or too proud to admit. Shedeur Sanders is legit. He's not some 5th-round flyer. He didn't fall because of his talent. No, let's call it what it is: bias. People didn't like the name. They didn't like the swagger. They didn't like that he walks like he knows something you don't. But here's the twist. He does know something you don't. Because the truth is, no one in that quarterback room, not Flacco, not Pickett, not Gabriel, is better than Shedeur Sanders. Not today, not ever. Flacco had his moment, Pickett had his chance. Gabriel, let's be real, was never that guy. But Shedeur, he's not just playing quarterback, he's shifting the gravity in Cleveland. So please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. So when the Browns take the field in Week 1, don't call it a gamble. Don't act like it's some wild experiment. This is confirmation. It's the league catching up to what Jimmy Haslam saw all along. They doubted him. They ignored the name. They rolled their eyes at the flash. But now they've got no choice but to acknowledge what's coming. Shedeur Sanders is going to lead this team into the future. Because the owner has spoken, and he didn't stutter. Now, I've been digging into what happened on draft day, and let me tell you, it wasn't just about strategy, it was sabotage. The coaching staff didn't want Shedeur Sanders, and not because of talent, not because of scheme fit. They just didn't want to deal with everything that comes with him. The spotlight, the swagger, the pressure of high expectations, and yes, the Sanders name. Stefanski and Berry already had their plan. They saw the media circus forming before. Shedeur's name was even on the card. And in what I can only describe as a desperate attempt to hold on to control, they pulled the trigger on Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. 2 rounds earlier than Shedeur would be taken. It was a smokescreen. They figured if they moved fast enough, they could sidestep Haslam's influence. But Haslam wasn't playing their game. He was playing chess. When Shedeur's name was still sitting on the board in the 5th round, Haslam made the move. And he didn't just override a pick. He exposed the entire internal structure. When that card got turned in, it wasn't with hesitation. It was with intent. The Browns didn't draft Shedeur Sanders as a backup, or a camp arm, or a branding play. They drafted him as a cornerstone. And the staff knew it. That's why the air shifted. Because this wasn't just a draft pick. This was a declaration, a power shift, a new era, and it was out of their hands. From that moment, the countdown to Week 1 began, and every snap since then has proven Haslam was right. They didn't want Shedeur because he broke the mold. He challenged the hierarchy. But Haslam didn't care about protecting egos. He cared about finding a winner. And he knew, before anyone would dare say it out loud, that Shedeur Sanders is that guy. Now here's what most people don't get. From the second Shedeur heard his name called in the 5th round, the NFL already labeled him developmental. That's the polite way of saying he won't matter this year. The coaching staff treated him like a background player, just another camp body, someone to tuck away quietly, give scout team reps, tell to be patient. But Shedeur didn't walk into Cleveland like a fifth-round pick. He walked in like a quarterback. He wasn't looking to wait his turn. He came to compete. And that shook the room. While Flacco and Pickett were handed reps, and Gabriel was gifted a head start just. Because of where he was drafted, Shedeur got leftovers. But he made every single one of those reps count. From the very first OTA session, he showed he belonged. The way he commanded the huddle, diagnosed the defense pre-snap, delivered the ball with rhythm. It didn't look like a rookie. It looked like a starter. And that scared them. They didn't want this narrative. They wanted a calm camp, a slow build. But Shedeur flipped the script. He exposed the politics, the favoritism, and forced everyone in the building to ask the question out loud. Is anyone actually better than him? And the answer: no. Not in arm talent. Not in football IQ. Not in leadership. He wasn't supposed to matter. But from day one, he made sure they had to take him seriously. This whole situation, this isn't just about a quarterback competition. It's about power. It's about a coaching staff trying to keep control over a player they never wanted. Even now, while Shedeur's out there winning reps, commanding the room, outplaying expectations, you wouldn't know it from how they treat him. Behind the scenes, there's a tug-of-war happening, and Shedeur is at the center of it. Kevin Stefanski has a type. He wants quiet, humble, low-profile guys. System players who just do the job and don't attract attention. Shedeur? He's the opposite. He's loud, he's branded, he's unapologetically himself. He welcomes the spotlight, and that scares them. Not because he's unqualified, but because he's overqualified. Because every time he steps on the field, it becomes harder to justify keeping him off it. So what did they do? They grabbed Gabriel in the third round. A quarterback they didn't need. A player who wasn't projected that high. It wasn't about talent. It was about leverage. Gabriel was a shield. He gave them a reason to delay Shedeur, to pretend they were developing both rookies, when in reality, they were just trying to avoid the inevitable. And now, the excuses are rolling in. He needs time. He's still learning. We want to ease him in. But if you've been watching practice, if you've been paying attention, you know the truth. The staff wasn't ready for this. They didn't want it. Shedeur's too talented, too fast, too smart, and they've run out of reasons to keep him waiting. But Jimmy Haslam isn't waiting. He's made his call, and now the pressure's on. The staff can either get on board or get left behind. This isn't the first time Haslam has stepped in to shape the Browns' future under center. But this time, it feels different. This time, he's not just pushing gently. He's planting a flag. He's drawing a line in the sand. Haslam wants Shedeur Sanders starting week 1, and he's not taking excuses. This pressure? It's real. And when an owner like Haslam sets his sights on a player, the entire organization feels it. Haslam didn't just draft Shedeur. He's backing him publicly and forcefully. He sees what others won't admit. Shedeur Sanders is a generational talent. He doesn't look like a fifth-rounder. He doesn't carry himself like a backup. He walks, talks, and plays like a star. And for the first time in decades, it feels like the Cleveland Browns might actually have one. Colin Cowherd said it best. Haslam has always loved quarterbacks that grab headlines. Manziel, Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, he chased them all. But this time, it feels like he found the guy who can actually deliver. Shedeur isn't baggage. He's not drama. He's not flash without fire. He's smart. He's sharp. He's explosive. And most importantly, he's not afraid. Jimmy Haslam didn't just pick a quarterback. He picked a moment. And if you ask me, Cleveland's about to witness the start of something special. Most rookies take a breather after the draft, chill out a little before training camp, recharge. But Shedeur, while everybody else was catching their breath, he was out there grinding in full Browns gear on his father's turf. No coaches, no crowd, no big lights, just him. Helmet on, pads strapped, cleats laced, working like it was a September Sunday, and the stadium was packed. So please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Now, one camera did catch it. Just one. But that one clip, it rocked the Browns fan base to the core. Because that wasn't just a workout. That was a statement. You don't throw on the full uniform unless you know. You're the guy. You don't lace up game cleats and run drills unless you're mentally under the lights already, leading a huddle, writing your name into NFL history. That wasn't practice. That was visualization. Every step, every drop back, every throw, he was walking through his debut. And that's the difference between the ordinary and the elite. It's not just talent, it's obsession. While the coaches are sorting depth, charts and fans are arguing about preseason snaps, Shedeur is already living it. He's not waiting to be given the job, he's out here taking it. And he's doing it on the same field that built him. Dayon's field, the place where nothing ever came without work. That video didn't need commentary. No music, no slow-mo edits. Just Shedeur in brown and orange, ripping that football through the air like he was already in control of the offense, and it hit different. Not because it was flashy, but because it was real. You can't fake belief. And Shedeur, his belief in himself is unshakable. Let's just be real. Who else in that quarterback room is doing this? Who else is sacrificing their downtime, skipping the beach trips, skipping the spotlight, just to mentally and physically prepare like the job is already his? Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, come on. None of them have what Shedeur has. Not the urgency, not the vision, not the fire. Shedeur isn't just hoping to be the Browns quarterback. He's already acting like he is. And that should terrify every single guy ahead of him on that depth chart. And listen, Andrew Berry tried to keep it low-key. Publicly, he played it safe, gave the typical lines. We're excited about the QB room, blah, blah, blah. But behind the scenes, things were shifting. The fifth-round rookie who wasn't even supposed to matter was suddenly the one everyone in the building was talking about. Berry couldn't ignore it. No one could. Shedeur Sanders was dominating the conversation. After the draft, Berry tried to make it sound like they were thrilled to get him, like he was part of the plan. But anyone paying attention knows they didn't expect him to fall. They didn't plan for this. Dillon Gabriel was supposed to be the project. But then, Shedeur was still on the board, and Haslam wasn't about to let him slip by. Not the guy he believed in more than anyone in the building. Berry's comments after the draft were revealing, though. He talked about Shedeur's poise, his accuracy, his leadership, his elite production. He praised how calm he looked under pressure, how well he processed from the pocket. And those aren't the kind of things you say about a guy you're planning to redshirt. That's what you say when you know someone is coming for the job, and you can't stop it. And now, Berry's tune is changing. Slowly, carefully, but it's changing. The narrative around Shedeur, it's evolving. He's no longer just developmental. They're calling him a competitor, a guy who's here to push for the starting spot. That kind of shift doesn't happen unless a player has outgrown the label the team slapped on him. They didn't plan for Shedeur Sanders to be here. But now, they're realizing he might just be the best quarterback on the entire roster. And that's not fanboy talk. That's the uncomfortable truth this staff is facing every day at camp. The buzz around Cleveland right now, it's insane. We haven't seen this kind of energy for a quarterback, let alone a fifth-rounder in years, not for a rookie,